There is a strategy in Spyro the Dragon that is so controversial, so polarizing, that it has shaken the speedrun community down to its very core. I'm talking about a trick that has made even seasoned speedrunners like myself go at each other's throats over whether this trick benefits the greater good of this speedrun, or if it's just plain old cheating. Let's get into it. The name of the dubious strategy in question is called Poverty Credit Skip, and in order to understand Poverty Credit Skip, we need to understand Credit Skip. You see, back in the olden days of speedrunning, I'm talking about W-Split and Landfair. I'm talking about Franker Z's and cat bags in the chat, and I'm talking about horrible capture card solutions and bit rates that would make 144p appear like 8K high-definition gaming. There was no credit skip. In fact, to complete a full 120% speedrun of Spyro the Dragon, you would have to flame the final boss, at which point the game takes away control from you, and you gotta sit through those 2.5-minute credits. There's nothing you can do about it. Only then can you complete the final bonus level for the true ending in Nasty's loot. Well, that all changed in 2013 when Tuval burst onto the scene and found out that you could actually bounce off of Nasty Nork and then fly through the roof, which happened to have no collision, what a coincidence, fly out of bounds, do the most ridiculous blind turnaround, and then point Spyro's head up at Nasty Nork from underneath his platform, out of bounds, flaming him just barely with enough time that the game takes away control from you, while Spyro then continues flying into the lava for a death abuse. You collect all of Nasty's treasure required for the run, and you skip the credits by respawning at the start of the level from that death. Pretty miraculous, if I dare say so myself. This trick was nothing short of a miracle. So that solves it, right? Now we can have all of the Spyro 120% speedruns doing this brand new trick, and it's going to be great, and we're going to have some really great times, and it's not going to be a problem at all, right? Wrong. The simple reality was that this trick was fucking hard. Even experienced world record contenders at the time took months to incorporate it into their runs, and even then it would hardly be anywhere close to consistent. This left new players feeling estranged and alienated from the game. Why are you going to spend all this time getting good levels and movement and a nice pace only to throw it all away at the end on this awkward, weird trick that loses you multiple minutes if you fail? So many players opted never to incorporate it in their gameplay and just go for what they would call CS-less runs. It was like this for many years, until Nerf came along. The legendary speedrunner and world record holder for Spyro 3 found that by switching to Spyro 1, he too was getting frustrated by credit skip. He decided to find an easier way to do the trick, and an easier way he found. He found out that if you just let the credits play normally, and then open the disc tray of your PlayStation 2, the disc will stop spinning during the credits, at which point all of the flybys through the levels will turn into black screens, and the text that's cascading across the screen will just disappear as the game fails to load it all. The game will eventually say returning home after all of this deloading nonsense. At that point, you can close the disc tray, wait a few seconds, and then boom, you're back in Nasty's homeworld, skipping over half of the credits. Now, this wasn't as fast as skipping the entirety of the credits like the old way, but it was still much easier and much more accessible for a new player to do, and its janky and barbaric methodology lent it to be known as Poverty Credit Skip. So this leaves us with a final question that is still hotly debated to this day. Should it be allowed? And this is where you can chime in the comments down below, but I'll give my take on the whole situation, and one that's echoed by many players who speedrun this game. Hardware manipulation is generally condemned in speedrunning. Changing the way a very game runs goes against the spirit of playing a game as optimally as possible. So things like crooked cartridges or smudged discs from Battle for Bikini Bottom evoke questions of, is this really cheating or not? And indeed, opening the disc tray on your PlayStation 2 in order to deload the credits falls into this same category of hardware manipulation. But one key difference here from every other situation is that this is not the optimal strategy. In fact, this is such a unique case scenario that it allows the top level players to continue doing the hardest strategy and get the most reward from it. Then, at the bottom end of the spectrum, new players who are not doing any sort of credit skip, poverty or otherwise, are far behind us, at least by a couple minutes as a result. So with this supposed cheating strat, it actually lifts up newer players, not to the point where we're at the top level, but at least somewhere a little closer so that we can feel like we're playing on a more level playing field. And although it may be considered hardware manipulation, it may be even considered cheating to some of you guys, I think its overall effect on the community of speedrunning Spyro the Dragon is one that allows you to become better at the game no matter what skill level or what level of dedication you have to it. And I think that is going to be a more important factor than the actual act of opening a disc tray. It's the context created by that. And I will add that if Poverty Credit Skip were as fast or faster than credit skip, then I would not allow it, because then it completely throws that whole balance of being able to get good at a game and optimize it and become the best at it out of whack. So for this reasoning, Poverty Credit Skip is allowed on the leaderboards, despite it being blatant hardware manipulation. Now, I'm curious to what you guys think. Is this right? Is this wrong? Should we stick to a stringent set of rules that doesn't include any hardware manipulation, or should we allow for niche case scenarios and exceptions like this one that are better for the overall health of a speed games community? Let me know down below, and type your favorite flavor of ice cream if you made it all the way to this end of this very nerdy dissertation. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and I'll see you guys in the stream. Make sure to follow down below and leave a like on this video, okay? I will see you in the next one. Peace.